What an embarrassment, man. For real. What a flat out embarrassment. It's just disgraceful, right? At this point in time. The Jets fall to 2-5 on the season going into Pittsburgh and just getting blown off the field. Simple as that. I mean, give me a break. The New York Jets are up 15-6. We lose 15-37, allowing 31 unanswered points, scoring 0 in the second half. Yeah, talk about a disgrace. The Jets were losers in 3 straight games coming into tonight. At home against Denver, we blew it. How do we blow it? Take your pick. Bad tackling, can't stop the run, penalties all over the place, poor game planning, poor play calls, whatever it is, poor quarterback play, poor run block, whatever it is. Take your pick. There's millions of problems. We blow it against the Denver Broncos. We go to London. We blow it there. What happened in that game, right? Yeah, of course, credit Minnesota. They're a good team, but there's confusion, there's dysfunction, there's discombobulation all over the place. And we had a chance to win in the end. Could we get it done? Nope. Then we come back home after firing Robert Saleh 5 weeks into the season, which is not common. That is a pretty rare occurrence. We promote Jeff Ulbrich. We demote Nathaniel Hackett. We promote Todd Downing. We show up to Buffalo. I felt like a lot of Jets fans thought, okay, you know what? If there's a turning point in the season, tonight's got to be the night, right? Division rival, Buffalo Bills at home, primetime, go get the win. Did it happen? Nope. More confusion, more shooting ourselves in the foot. Just errors and issues all over the damn field. So we fall to 2-4 and we come into tonight's game. And I can't speak for anyone else except for myself. I felt as though this was a playoff game. Playoff game in October. Why? Because I don't want to see the Jets fall to 2-5. I mean, just look at the mathematical chances of a team like that making the playoffs. Every year is different, of course, but 2-5 freaking sucks. You don't want to be digging yourself out of a 3-game hole just to get back to 500, especially if you're a win-now team like the New York Jets. It's one thing if you're rebuilding. It's one thing if you have a bunch of rookies loaded all over the place and you're counting on them. It's one thing if you're not paying your quarterback a lot of money, but the Jets have already fired a coach. We have Aaron Rodgers, which could potentially be the last season of Aaron Rodgers' career. We just acquired Davante Adams. We are at a shortage of draft picks. We are pressed up against the cap and veterans all over the place. So you don't want to fall to 2-5. That's exactly what happened tonight. Again, blown off the field, allowing 31 unanswered points. It just makes you shake your head and say, what the hell's going on here? You want to talk about a lack of winning pedigree, a lack of a winning mindset. I mean, I'm watching the team across the field in the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're aggressive, right? They're physical, right? They're physically tough. They're mentally tough. They were the team that was down 15 to whatever it was, 15-6. Yeah, 15-6 in the early parts of the game. Right? They were able to flip the script. They were able to turn the tables, hang in, claw back, and then they ultimately just kicked the Jets' teeth in, right? That's what it comes down to, right? The mentally tougher team won today. The physically tougher team won today. The team that was better coached won tonight. And it sucks to say it because, I mean, there's just so much pressure. There's so much invested into this Jets team, and they look like a complete mess. It's just gross watching the game. I hate to say it, but after that first interception, the game was over. It was just all Steelers from that point forward. Credit them. Credit their players. I mean, they had so many guys making plays, in the trenches, in the defensive line. Minka Fitzpatrick, Elliott, right? These guys, multiple turnovers, right? They had themselves a day, and we knew Pittsburgh was a good team. It's not like we lost to Carolina here or New England. Pittsburgh is, in my opinion, a playoff team, right? Great defense, great home field advantage, great fans all over. It's credit to Pittsburgh. I wish the Jets played like Pittsburgh, right? I mean, here we are again, where we can't stop the run. Here we are again where we let one error happen and then it just snowballs. It's just a snowball effect. Issue after issue after problem, whatever it may be. And it pisses me off. And if you're a fan and you're angry and you're upset or whatever, you're depressed, you have every right to feel that way. Because the Jets, I want to say, lead the team in talking about how good they are. But when it comes to actual wins, actually winning football games, it just doesn't seem to happen. Now, the season's still early. The Jets could turn it around. But my issues with this team were evident tonight, right? Where it's when are we going to see the shifting of gears? When are we going to get out of our own way? And in the early parts of the game, I'm like, okay, this isn't perfect, but you know what? We were able to capitalize, get into the end zone. We were able to slow down and stop the Pittsburgh Steelers offense a couple times, you know, force a couple punts. We had the lead early. We had the whole like weird challenge flag thing, whatever. We had points and we had a decent sized lead. We need to be able to hang on to that. If you can't hang on to that lead, it is what it is. But at the very least, you need to be able to go back and forth, right? Think about this for a second. Think about just a playoff game, playoff football game. What do you think of? You think of two good teams with two good coaching staffs going back and forth. That's why football is awesome, right? Any given Sunday, anything can happen. You don't think of flat out blowouts. You don't think about humiliating losses. You don't think about 31-point comebacks just out of random. And so I think that's where a lot of people have issues with this regime, right? When it comes to, you know, names on paper, the Jets, I want to say, lead the league. But when it comes to actual, winning, tough moments, critical situations, third downs, red zone, 2-minute drives, just areas like that, right? Moments before halftime, maybe outside of that Hail Mary last week, but it just feels as though this team is just searching and reeling for answers, and they just simply don't have any. It just feels as though they cannot get out of their own way. It's like there's this, I don't want to use the term losers mentality, but, the whole, you watch the Chiefs play, you watch the Steelers play, you watch the Bills play, you watch the Ravens play, you watch the Lions play, right? They know how to win football games. Like, they know it's different than just racking up stats, right? And we all know this as fans. We've been watching football for a long time. And even if you haven't, right, even if this is the first season of you being a Jet fan or whatever watching football, you can tell watching the other teams, like, they know how to clamp down an opponent, They know how to take care of business and win when it matters, right? Fourth quarter arrives, now all of a sudden they're playing at their best. And if they're not playing at their best, they're at least countering the other team to where they're not playing at their best. And with the Jets, it's just complete implosion, right? One little bit of adversity, boom, game feels over. And it's annoying. It's frustrating as hell. Who do we have next week? The New England Patriots, I believe. I mean, it just feels wrong. It feels weird thinking ahead to next week when there are just so many problems. I actually felt, you know what, after that Bills game, yeah, we lost. Yeah, we looked just flat out horrible in so many different areas, tackling, run defense, being able to slow down Ray Davis, keeping Josh Allen in the pocket, penalties all over. Despite all those different things, I felt like, you know what, Todd Downing laid out a solid blueprint. The offense moved a little bit better than in previous weeks. Now we're adding Davante Adams to the mix. At some point, it has got to come together. And if it doesn't, changes need to be made. So I don't want to, look at the future and circle teams and say, oh, you know what, we're better than that team. Or, oh, that's going to be an easy win. Or we should handle those next couple of weeks. We're not in a position to do that. The Jets are a 2-5 football team. We don't have the luxury of looking over any opponent. They have to go out and prove that they can actually win football games in tough, meaningful situations against quality opponents. We're looking back on this. Looking back on the season, 2-5. Yes, who are the wins against? The 1-win Patriots. And what, the 1-win Titans? There's a lot to prove here. Lot to prove here moving forward, man. And again, if it doesn't, then I think everyone knows what's going to end up happening, which is probably the Jets just cleaning house and starting over again. So before I end the video, I did want to quickly address Xavier Newman. Someone who I feel as though does a great job when his number's called, someone who is a great depth option for the New York Jets. I felt like last season when his number was called, he came in and really stepped up to the plate. It looked like he took a brutal shot, getting hit and then falling down on the Garrett Wilson drop interception. And, obviously had to get carted off. And I honestly, I just had to watch the game on mute. Until I actually saw a Twitter update, just because it felt weird, like just, getting back into the flow of the game. I'm just like, because he was carted off And they said that he wasn't able to move, or didn't move his extremities or anything. And so I was just sitting there with a pit in my stomach with the TV on mute until I ended up seeing a Twitter notification. Basically, Newman was transported to a hospital, and he was able to, I think, squeeze either a nurse's hand or a doctor's hand or something. So that thankfully is positive. So yeah, wanted to address that situation. Xavier, think about you, man. Really, really scary situation. And, you know, obviously that's the most important thing out of all this, right? Over the game, over the loss and everything. So always got to keep that stuff in mind. But yeah, Jets fall 2-5. I can't even believe it. I appreciate everybody sticking around, hanging out. It's Sunday night. I'm filming this, you know, it's just about to be midnight here. And you guys are taking the time to watch. You guys are the best, right? Jets fans are the best. And that's one thing with this team, right? No matter how bad it is on the field, you guys show up, you guys go to games, you guys spend your Sundays watching this team. Again, whether you're at a bar or at the stadium or at home like me watching on TV, you're talking with your buddies, you guys are repping Jets gear, Jets merch. And, you know, I think the bottom line is, you know, as a fan base, we deserve a little bit more. We deserve to see this team win football games. And I don't want to sound arrogant as a fan, but, you know, it's just gotten to the point, right? I'm not going to sit here and talk about the, whatever it is, the playoff drought record, whatever, 13 years, 12 years, however long it is. It's just a disgrace at this point. The New York Jets have got to get this thing figured out, and they got to get it figured out fast, because if they don't, the season's done. It's as simple as that. If we look like this for the rest of the season, I mean, can you seriously envision us going to play in Baltimore with all of these issues and beating Lamar Jackson and John Harbaugh, or Sean McDermott and Josh Allen, or Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes? You know, I'm almost at a loss for words. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for sticking with the channel. You guys are the best, and as always, go Jets.